All righty, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming to our October board meeting. We appreciate everyone that has come out. Before we get started, Ms. Kelly is going to say a quick prayer for us, and then the Winderburg High School JROTC cadets will present the colors. So if you'll stand with us.
And we pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to meet today. Thank you for the freedoms that you allow us to have in this country, Lord. I just pray that you be over this meeting tonight. Pray with the board as we make difficult decisions every day. I pray you be with us and that we listen with the opening our hearts and our ears and our minds, and that you help us to do what's best for our community, and that we will be able to, at the end of the day, know that we've done what's best by our community, but at the end of our lives, when we're standing before you, that you will say, well done, good and faithful servant. In your precious and holy name I pray. Amen. Amen.
Forward, march. Mark time, march. Colors, hold. Post the colors. Green set, arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Mark time, march. Forward, march. Colors, hold. Left, face.
Good evening. I'm Cadet Second Lieutenant Dylan Ryan from Winderburg High School.
Good evening. I'm Cadet Major Matthew Elias from Winderburg High School.
Good evening. I'm Cadet Colonel Chance Barr from Winderburg High School.
Good evening. I am Cadet Sergeant Tristan Breva from Winderburg High School.
Right, face. Forward, march.
Great job, cadets. Thank you so much.
You guys be seated. At this time, I'd like to call for approval of the minutes from our August 31st, 2023 called board meeting, September 5th, 2023 regular board meeting, and our September 26th, 2023 work session and called board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Kane, Ms. Maloof, all in favor? Motion passes. Can I get an approval for tonight's agenda?
So moved. Second.
Ms. Bramlett, Ms. Hendricks, all in favor? Motion passes. And then at this time, can I get approval for the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Ms. Stevens, Ms. Maloof, all in favor? Motion passes. All right, at this time, we're going to go into committee reports. We're going to start off with Clean and Safe Schools, where Ms. Maloof, Ms. Stevens, and myself toured. And Ms. Maloof, take it away.
Thank you. As many of you know, we do these school visits each month. And last week, we visited Winder Elementary, Russell Middle School, and Winderburg High School. And as usual, we found 3 very clean schools with no safety concerns. Because we're asked to choose one school each month, we go into the schools looking for anything, something to separate that one school from the others, and sometimes it's a big challenge. But before I announce this month's winner, I want to describe what we observed at the winning school. From the moment we walked into the school, we felt the school culture, and it was very positive. We saw students engaged in a great learning activity in the front lobby. We saw the most well-organized lost and found rack I have ever seen. We found the most incredibly well-organized maintenance equipment and supply room we have ever seen, with all the safety materials easily accessible and in full view. We visited the cafeteria and the floors were spotless. This was even after having children in there for breakfast. In the gym, we saw the coolest activity where kindergartners were learning badminton using balloons and soft sponge paddles until they learned the basics to move on to a racket and birdies. And in the library, we may have stayed longer than usual in this library because it was so awesome and colorful. The books were obviously on the shelves, but they were everywhere else in the library. And just cool furniture and cool decor that invite children to want to pick up a book and read. So this may be one of our newer schools, but last Thursday, this school stood out to us. So congratulations, Winder Elementary.
All right, now we're going to go down into our superintendent's recognitions.
All right, great. And we will start off with custodial recognition. Mr. Perno, if you will do the honors.
Good evening. Tonight we'd like to recognize 3 custodial teams, and these are custodial teams that have scored the highest on the initial clean school, not clean school committee, but the inspections that our maintenance department does. And so we will start with Austin Road Elementary School, and if we could get these individuals to come up front here and be recognized. If they're here, Nadia Hernandez, Tanya Nunez, and we just have the one certificate for the school. Yeah, thank you. Abraham Villegas, Luz Perez, Christopher Perkins, Paola Hernandez, and Olga Maynard. And Austin Road, of course, our newest school. And I've been out to the school on a number of occasions, and this team works great together. And the school has really embraced them and brought them in as part of their own. Love the spirit here with the shirts. And I think we have some family members as well here to support them tonight. So if you're a family member of one of the individuals here up front, would you please stand? All right, we got some in the back as well. All right, thank you all for coming. Okay, our next school is Bramlett Elementary School. If you would please come up, Maria Tovar, Alejandro Clavijo, Carlos Castro, and I don't believe Zenobia was able to make it tonight, but was Zenobia Gatan? Yeah, okay. And I think, good to see you, Carlos. And for Bramlett, we've seen them up here before. They have, again, that consistent team. They know their building, great rapport and relationship with the teachers and students and staff, and they just do a wonderful job every night. You know what you're getting. You can count on them day in and day out. Okay, any family members for the Bramlett folks here? Hey, all right. Okay, Yargo Elementary School, again, another team that we've seen up here before. Aranda Clement, Maria Gonzalez, Jose Coley Perez, Rosario Govaria, Teresa Correa, and Maria Gonzalez. Again, a terrific crew. The common theme here is stability. You know, same folks, strong bond with the school, take pride in their work, and they just do a terrific job each and every day. I don't know if we have any family members from the Yargo team here. I'd like to read this about the Yargo team from the principal there. The Yargo custodians are a fabulous team. They work cohesively together to make our building shine each and every day. They give attention to detail and work tirelessly to make sure the building is ready for the children each and every morning. The Yargo custodians come to work with a smile on their face, and they take time in each task to complete it to the fullest. They do not cut corners, but give lots of attention to detail. They wipe down areas that are common public areas to keep germs down, and this helps with our children to not get sick. They take time to do things that others may think are small, but all the small things add up, which makes a big difference. They're the front line to warding off germs and keeping the building safe. Thank you to the Yargo custodians for caring and making a difference each and every day. And I think there's a couple of valuable points there. We talk about germs and health. A lot about cleaning is appearance. It is. But it's also about things you don't see. It's wiping down those touch points, getting that dust out of the building so that those germs aren't floating around and keeping kids at home. So I really appreciate the opportunity. I know our board does and our superintendent to have a chance to recognize these folks who work so hard to keep our buildings clean and healthy. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Get some pictures out here in the lobby before you all leave us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all.
I believe next we have Dr. Wood.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jennifer Wood, and I'm the CTAE director for the school system. And tonight I have the pleasure to highlight some of our outstanding CTAE accomplishments from this past year. We had so many things. We could have done a whole board meeting with just all of the great things that our students and our staff have done. We did create this little quick video that highlights some of the things, since we didn't want to, take the time to recognize everybody. This is the best way to do it. So, Rochelle, if you could play this. we do have some in-person recognitions that we'd like to spotlight tonight. First, I would like to call up Connor Manning. Connor, if you can come on up. Connor is a Winder Barrow High School student, and he placed first, so let me say this, he placed first at TSA Nationals in transportation modeling out of 57 total participants from 38 states and 2 other countries. Connor designed a scale model of a solar-powered yacht using what he learned in TSA, his engineering classes, 3D modeling, and laser cutting. It's also important to note, and I know she's in here because she's going to get recognized later, but she doesn't love all of this recognition, but this is Kimberly Guerin's third first place national winner. She had one in 2017, 2019, and now 2023. So congratulations, Connor. You can stay there. Next, I'd like to recognize some students that were selected to represent their career technical student organizations as state officers. So we call those CTSOs. So if you saw that throughout the video, being selected to a state office is no easy task. Students have to submit applications, go through intense interviews, and I am proud to say that Barrow County has 3 state officers this year. And so from Appalachia High School, Jairus Smith is representing Skills USA. Also from Appalachia High School, Corinne Mathis is representing FCCLA. And from BASA, we have Emma Pittman representing FCCLA. So now we'd like to recognize some of our teachers. So we have tonight Dr. Carmen Peterson, if you could come on up. She's a food nutrition teacher at Appalachia, and she was awarded the American Association of Family and Consumer Sciences National Teacher of the Year Award at a ceremony this summer in Maryland. Next, we'd like to recognize Brooke Lewis Slamkova. She's also a food nutrition teacher at Appalachia High School, and she received 2 awards this past summer, the Carl Perkins Community Service Award, and she also received the FCCLA National Master Advisor Award. Another thing that we like to highlight each year is industry certification. So those of you that have seen me present before and talk about industry certification, this is when a program becomes industry certified and it gets that stamp of approval from the state and from business and industry. These programs receive grant funds, so they have to apply to go through this process, and this is typically a year-long, if not longer than that process for our teachers to go through. They have to create digital portfolios documenting 3 years worth of student accomplishments, lesson plans, equipment enhancements in their rooms, and awards. And Appalachia and Winder Barrow, they have to host advisory, their CTSOs, and current officers for evaluation. And so this year we had Teresa Johnson, if you'll come forward, for engineering at Appalachia High School. Our other industry certified program was Winder Barrow High School Engineering, and that's Miss Kimberly Guerin. One thing I'd also like to brag about Winder Barrow High School and Kimberly Guerin is that Kimberly received a score of 100 on her industry certification, which was the first time this ever happened throughout in the state of Georgia. So accolades to Miss Guerin for all of her hard work. And then we have two other teachers that couldn't be with us tonight that received industry certification from Appalachia High School, and that's for our healthcare program, but they're being recognized by student athletes tonight, so they send their regrets. But that they are Kaylee Howard and Robert Yaden, and so we want to make sure we give them a round of applause for all of their hard work. And I just want to close the evening and say thank you to all of our families that are here tonight to support our students and to support our teachers and our staff and all of our community that continue to support our CTAE programs in the district. We couldn't do this without all of your support and the support from our school district. So we thank you very much. That's it. Thank you.
Yes, we do. It's time we come out of the cave over there and stuff. You know, we talk about a lot about changes in routes, but one thing we're going to start doing better is talking about our people and stuff. So we have a lot to brag about. So we're going to start with our Fantastic Four is what I'm going to call the first ones out. The things that they do, I mean, we got tasks we do, driving and skills and all that, and we tend to get mission-minded and lose ourselves in it, and we lose our humanness, but I can tell you these folks here don't miss a beat, and they're the definition of above and beyond. So I'm going to start out with Brenda Phillips. Brenda goes to the effort of crocheting hats for her students to put on their head. So if you send her your size, I'm sure she would give you one, do one for you, but just a great testament right there. And she don't crochet while driving, just so everybody knows that and everything. So the next one we have is just gets involved in everything, gets out there, does a great job. Anytime you need something, you just call her. This is Lee Higgins. Lee, just like I said, she chips in. With a lot of the changes we had coming into this year, Lee was a fixture in the office, just getting out there. I mean, a lot of people were, but we got to start somewhere. But Lee's just that person. When you need her to do something, she just gets it done. So just a wonderful person. This one here is another one that goes above and beyond on the other aspects of just time. You know, they say you spell love, T-I-M-E. You know, and this is a testament to that. Missy Crane takes the effort to read books to her children in times when they're down waiting in the bus lanes and different things like that. So that's huge if you're an educator. Reading books to children is huge. We've got one, and I believe she's missing, and I know she's not here because the sun didn't get brighter when she walked in the room, so I know she's not here. Amy Wright is just a sunshine, and she can come through, and when you're having a down day, she'll stick her head in the office. Hey, Jason, how are you? Just always naturally smiling and stuff. She's the type just lifts up the room when she walks in. That's how I know the room's good, but I can tell you if she was in here, it'd be a lot brighter. She's just that kind of person. So I hate it that she couldn't make it tonight, but I'm going to give her kudos and time for that. But look, this is the kind of thing that people don't hear from us. We do wonderful things over there, and these few are just a prime example of those type things. So just give you guys a wonderful round. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
All right, at this time, we're going to go down to our request to appear before the board. Tonight, we have 7 people that have requested to appear before the board. Each representative will get 3 minutes to speak. If you do not finish during your 3 minutes, we do ask you to please send us an email with the remaining things that you were not able to get out, okay? We want to hear from all of you, so we will start with Ms. Ashley Walsh. Her reason and concern was dissolving the track program at BASA. So Ms. Walsh, if you'll join us up at the podium.
When does my timer officially start? Oh, okay. Do I say go?
Whenever you say go.
All right. Thank you guys for letting us come here today and appear before you. want to speak directly to Dr. McMichael. My name is Ash Walsh. I'm your boss, as is everybody in here that's a citizen. We're here to say that we're not happy, and we want to get a resolution to this. We're not here to attack or blame, but we want to present our problems, and we want you to work with us and hear us and move forward. So a little background, 2019, Barrow County Schools announced the addition of the third high school. Throughout the year, the plans of the new high school were shared with concrete details being left undecided. In September 2019, students were given a BASA presentation, and it was stated that sports would be involved at BASA with final decisions on how they would be integrated soon. Shortly after the presentation, families were given a window to submit the application to the school. Families felt pressured to make a decision quickly as they were told there would be a limited number of students allowed in the first year. Families proceeded in good faith that Barrow County School System would follow through with plans communicated in their presentations. After the end of the 2020 school year, it became increasingly clear that BASA never had intentions to offer access to traditional sports. There was a lot of communication, and it continued as in 2023, coaches worked to launch a track and field program. I'm one of those coaches. We were finally given approval to proceed with the program in January 2023. The track interest meetings had many attendees. As you can see, tons of kids supported the program. We had over 60 kids sign up. The school worked with the rec department as well as track and field at district schools to give students opportunities to practice. And the team performed surprisingly well and advanced all the way to state, as you can see in Jacob's medals right there, and then on to national and won a national title. It's a very big deal. Anyway, we then received a directive to phase out track and field and not allow any new participants. It was determined that there was to be no money allotted for stipends or support, and that the sport would only become a club, a very exclusive club. To have to tell kids that they can't do the sport is appalling. It was really, really hard for me. And I gotta cut this short because I got 30 seconds, but I want to request a special meeting before November 1st. I would like to meet to discuss poor planning and execution of Barrow Arts and Sciences, failure of BCSS to meet expectations expressed to citizens regarding BASA. I want official recognition and full support of a BASA track and field program. I want equal opportunities for BASA students to participate in all sports offered in Barrow County School System, a clear plan and timeline for athletics integration at BASA, and I want clarity and transparency regarding plans for the school's future. And I want to discuss that before November 1st.
All righty, thank you, Ms. Walsh. Next, I'd like to invite up Mr. Jason Crothers.
So I can try to get through it in 3 minutes. But my name is Jason Crothers, and I have 2 children that attend BASA. We've been a part of BASA since day one. Before COVID shut everything down in 2020, we attended an in-person meeting at BASA. Questions were specifically asked about which sports would be offered. Track was specifically mentioned as one of those sports, and that it would be offered in the first year. We even spoke with faculty after the meeting to confirm that. After having already committed to BASA, we heard rumors track would not be offered, so I emailed one of the faculty to ask about it, was told they were no longer planning to offer it, but possibly with enough interest in the future. So that brings us to last year, where there was an overwhelming interest with over 70 students participating, my son being one of them, and as it turns out, he happens to be pretty good at a few of the events. So going undefeated in the high jump for the entire season, winning a state championship, a national championship in the high jump, advancing to Junior Olympics, and placing well there as well. He is currently top 3 in the state of Georgia, top 10 in the nation, and that none of that would have happened without the track program last year. And it was the one and only time he participated in track. And so he placed in 2 other events, 2nd and 3rd at the state championships as well, and has received over 15 invites from colleges and universities around the country to visit their schools, with over half of those having Division I track programs. Because of him getting the opportunity to participate in track for 1 year, he's going to end up attending college on a track scholarship to Division I school. If the executives in this school system had their way, he would have never had that opportunity, because they want to shut out the kids for next year. for this year, actually. So how many other students are there at BASA that will potentially miss out on the opportunity to participate in a sport, learn teamwork, learn to overcome adversity, miss out on lifelong friendships, and even potentially miss out on going to college because executives in this system will not allow us to have a sports program that has more interest than probably any other sport at BASA. I'd like to know how we can have official sports that only have 1 and 2 participants, but we can't have one that has 70. I've been told it's because we don't have track facilities. That's fine, but please show me where our baseball, softball, swimming, gymnastics, and soccer facilities are, because I don't find those there either. All we're asking for is that track be made an official sport, the faculty coach be compensated for their time, because it can't happen without them, and the executives of this system listen to the voice of people that are supposedly representing and serving us. And in that case, the message, if you haven't got it, is we want a track team at BASA. I've personally spoken with multiple BASA faculty members as well as some people on this board and was told they feel the same way but can't voice that too loudly because they don't want to endanger their job. No one should fear losing their job because they want to do what's right for the students at BASA or any other school. So I hope that everything that's been voiced here this evening will not fall on deaf ears and the right decision will be made, which is to allow BASA to have an official track program this year. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. Crothers. Next, I'd like to invite up Ms. Courtney Perkins.
Hey y'all, thank y'all for allowing us to speak this evening. I have a child that participated in the track program for the first time ever. She's never run anywhere. She was really happy with it. That, in addition to the cross-country team she's currently on now, have completely transformed my child, who shall remain nameless. She is, I think we all want the best for our kids anyway. We want them to be as well-rounded as they can be, as they want to be. As she's running cross-country right now, she's saying, Mommy, I'm going to be so much faster for track when it comes back around, because she feels more prepared this time. I'm sure she's not the only kid that feels like that. And to see how this sport has transformed her, it will kill us, all of us, I'm sure, to have that taken away. It's important that they have these things to develop all the things that everybody has said that these team sports can provide. She may not have ever participated in a school sport if it wasn't for this. She's enjoyed it so much. The coaches have made everything possible, paid or not, which they should be paid. They have volunteered their time, their energy, their selflessness, planning workouts, arranging where to practice. They have run everywhere, from schools to Fort Yargo to the parking lot to wherever. My kid has come home after practice and said, I'm gonna go outside and run another mile or two because I just think I need to. She wouldn't have said that a year ago. And I attribute that to what this program and these coaches have done for these kids. So all I ask, just like everybody else, is for you guys to please, please, please consider not only continuing this program for the kids that are currently academically eligible, for future kids that could be academically eligible, and not only your support, but your funding is needed as well. Our parents, we help as much as we can, but we need y'all to help us too. It's a valuable program and it should not be dissolved. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Perkins. Next, I would like to invite up Ms. Smita Carroll.
Hi, my name is Smita Carroll, and I am a senior at BASA. I spent the first 10 years of my life in an Indian orphanage, and I was too weak to even push a pedal on the bike. I joined my first sport at BASA by signing up for running. I had no idea I was a runner, and neither did my parents. But I shocked everyone when I started winning races for BASA. Running gave me strength physically, mentally, and emotionally, and it had become part of my identity. It is also my future. I am counting on BASA to have a track team in the spring to get an athletic scholarship for college. By not having a track team, others are losing opportunities as well as to get a scholarship. Thank you in advance for supporting it, and I know you'll make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Carroll. Next, we'd like to invite up Ms. Emma Busby.
Hi, my name is Emma Busby and I'm a junior at BASA. I'm a varsity runner on BASA's cross country and track team. I've been on the cross country team since BASA opened, and I remember how small of a team we had, but I can assure you now that our team has grown a lot. Running has personally impacted me positively and changed my mental and physical health. Through BASA's cross country and track team, I've met some of my best friends and found a community that I can relate to. I've given my blood, sweat, and tears to the sport, and to see it potentially shut down is truly devastating. During our track season last spring, I got to see many people find their passion for running. I also got to see many succeed in running. Although our track team was deemed unsuccessful, I find this untrue. We had numerous runners make it to sectionals, state, and one to even nationals. I find it interesting that it's considered unsuccessful and a reason not to continue this program. The proposed solution was to give us only the successful runners that ran at sectionals and state would be able to participate on the track team next spring. While I would be considered part of this successful group of runners, I find it extremely discriminatory to other runners who worked just as hard last season and those who are simply interested in trying a new sport. It is sad to see the unequal opportunities given at BASA. When being introduced to BASA, many false promises were made to convince young students to come to BASA. BASA was built up to be an amazing school that would provide unique experiences and sports. More specifically, we were promised that if BASA did not provide a sport, then we would be able to participate in our zone school's programs. However, this was never allowed. With that being said, if BASA doesn't have a track team, then others, including myself, will not have the opportunity to run track. These false promises lead students to transfer out of BASA, and honestly, I don't blame them. I find myself wishing I could do the same. And as a junior, I feel that it's too late to leave BASA and transfer to my zoned high school, because by transferring, it would not benefit my cross-country and track season due to transferring rules. I love this sport wholeheartedly, and I hope you take my words into consideration. We will continue to advocate for BASA's track team until changes are made. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Ms. Busby. Next, I would like to invite up Ms. Carrie Rotunda.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'm Carrie Rotunda. I am a parent of 3 girls in the Barrow County school system. 2 of them are at BASA. 5 years ago, when I sat in the media room at Russell Middle School listening to a presentation about the vision of a new high school in Barrow County, we attended several of those sessions along with many other parents, hosted by Dr. McMichael, Dr. Simpson, about this crown jewel of Barrow County. They sparked a fire in the parents and the students about the potential of a very unique high school, Barrow Arts and Sciences Academy. And since those meetings, I have been a champion and an advocate for this school. One of the highlights for me as a parent was a focus on the college and career pathways. Dr. McMichael and Dr. Simpson agreed that athletics was a vital part of developing a well-rounded student, and the new school would provide recognized athletics for students to include on their college applications. We all know the benefits of athletics that can provide to the student academically, physically, and emotionally, not to mention reducing the rates of depression, anxiety, and we've witnessed that firsthand during a global pandemic. However, 5 years from those meetings, the Barrow County school system seems to have lost that vision for this school. Canceling a program such as track and field is so obviously in the best interest of the students is one symptom that's indicative of a larger problem. We have a leadership problem. There have been several poor decisions made at the school level and the district level that has shown that BCSS has lost that vision. such as not providing a necessary class for a graduation pathway to implementing some obsolete technology. BASS's enrollment was stable and growing until there was a change in leadership that caused several parents to pull their kids from this school. I do not want to pull my girls from this school, and that is why I'm here. Now, officially, we were told for the track team during the 22-23 school year, several students saw success in track and field events while competing in the BASSA Track Club. Due to a lack of safe and adequate facilities, we will be phasing out the program for new students. We will honor our commitment to current athletes, but we will not be taking new athletes going forward. I need to know what BCSS's definition is of a safe and adequate facility. What are your parameters for measuring something that is safe and adequate? Our team used the same facilities that other teams currently use.
You can finish your thought.
Thank you. Fort Yarger Park is for our cross-country team, Victor Lord Park for our soccer teams, and even the Winder Barrow and Appalachie tracks. So if this decision is made on BASS's lack of facilities, I should remind you that other schools in our district are also using other facilities that are not owned by BCSS. Our kids are safer because we also provide transportation to these facilities. So I would argue that if it's safe enough for our current athletes, it's safe enough for new ones too. I do have more. I have printed them off. I'll leave you with that. But I do want to just end. These are for our kids. This is our system, and we were going to be heard on this. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rotunda. And lastly, I'd like to invite up Ms. Paula Fuller.
Thank you, Board, for your time and the opportunity to voice my concerns. I am not sure why the decision has been made that track will only be offered to exceptional track athletes, but it is unfair and discriminatory to all other BASSA students. The definition of discriminatory is making or showing an unjust or prejudicial distinction between categories of people, which is exactly what Barrow County Schools is doing in this case. All students deserve to have the opportunity to participate in any sport activity offered at BASSA. Any student given the opportunity, exposure, education in a sport may become an exceptional athlete. Jacob, clear example. Barrow County Schools is denying students this. If Barrow County Schools offers varsity and junior varsity track to all students at BASSA, that is just and fair. Barrow County Schools should be fair to all BASSA students. It is obvious that all the students and parents want track and field and deserve to have it. My second concern is the fact that Coach Ash Walsh, who has generously volunteered countless hours to track and cross country, has now been told she must be an employee of Barrow County Schools in order to continue to volunteer. This is completely absurd and does not make any sense. Why is Barrow County Schools punishing Coach Ash for volunteering instead of thanking her? I do not know what ulterior motives are at play in this situation, but it is unfair and completely wrong. Why does Barrow County Schools wish to deny parents the chance to volunteer for their children and all other students? Coach Ash has had background check after background check and has exceptional credentials. Why is she suddenly being denied the right to volunteer when it has been fine with Barrow County Schools for the last 18 to 24 months? These are some serious, unjust, and unacceptable concerns that the board needs to rectify. Thank you.
We appreciate all of you guys coming out to support, and thank you for the 7 of you that chose to speak. We're going to talk about this a little bit more in the program, but first we're going to hop into the superintendent department reports. We'll start with support services report with Dr. Bowen. Do you have anything to add?
Just a communication report as opposed to last week.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we'll have the business services report with Ms. Houston.
I guess I don't get an applause. Just
You're a money lady. Y'all need to make nice ones.
All right. I'm a Gator at heart, so sorry about that.
We all can't be perfect.
All right, let's get into the business at hand, which is our sales tax for the month of September. $1,684,995 for the month of September, and you can see our sales tax on that chart below compared to the other years. For our general fund, our board summary, the total fund balance at September 30th is $60.6 million. Our total revenues year to date are $30.5 million. Our total expenditures, $45.4 million. Our total revenues for the month of September, $10.4, and our total expenditures for the month is $14.9. Then we have our detail for the general fund. If you have any questions, just stop me. We'll move on to our special revenue fund for the month of August. Our year-to-date revenue, $1.6 million. Our year-to-date expenditures, $4.1 million. For our capital projects funds, our year-to-date revenue, $4.5 million, and our expenditures, $5.1 million. And then our debt service fund, our total expenditures, total revenue, $3.6 million, and $3.8 million for total expenditures. Have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much. She's going to be expecting that every time.
When y'all aren't here, we're going to have to do it.
All righty, next we have system operations report. Mr. Perno? All righty, thank you, sir. Anything new with teaching and learning, Dr. Moten?
No additional information.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything with planning and personnel, Ms. Beggs? Thank you. And strategic information services with Dr. Thompson? Thank you, sir. All righty, at this time, we're going to go into clarification of previous items, and that is regarding the let's try that one again. Barrow Arts and Sciences Academy Sports Program.
While Rochelle's bringing that up, first I want to thank y'all for coming out. If we don't hear from you, we don't know these things. So it's great for you. This is the type of thing that we need to be doing in this country, in this county, and in this state. So thank you all. I appreciate you all coming out. I know it's nerve-wracking to get up and speak in front of a bunch of folks when you're not used to it, and I appreciate those of you that got up to speak. As a parent of a recently graduated BCSS student, I've been there since day one also. So have a little insight on that. And really what we've done, we haven't had a lot of time to go through everything. But I've tried to put together a timeline. I wish I'd had Ms. Washington to help me out there as we went through. I think a lot of ours coincide. But just wanted to get some clarifications. Now, we're not here to have a debate or do any of those things. We'll be glad to set up some time to talk with folks, meet at the school, do those type of things. But I think we could have avoided quite a lot of this if we had a chance to do that before we got to this point with this. Sometimes social media and things run amok, and it's just better sometimes just to sit down and talk. But so we'll run through this, just hopefully get some clarifications to you all, to the board, and kind of the timeline of BCSS. As the one that really came up with the idea for BCSS, I probably have a little bit unique insight into that, but make sure y'all can hear. So just kind of going back, and again, this is not meant to be an exhaustive or complete look at it, but this is where we are. This is our knowledge. Those of us on the executive cabinet and that are working up here and working through this is our knowledge base right now. So starting back in 2016, we decided on a new high school of choice, not a magnet school, but a school, third high school that would be of choice. It would be not, the main difference being it's not zoned. And that students could choose to come, as you all have mentioned. And so that's the impetus behind it. And it was something really for students that did not necessarily want the traditional four-year high school experience. And we have, as we've gone along through time, we've noticed more and more students that way, whether they're working at home, whether they're doing other things, whether they're not all that enthused with Friday night football games. They need something a little special. They want to work at pathways, these type of things. So that was the impetus that the board at that time and I pushed forward. 2017, just kind of some dates you can check back on. Solicitation of design and construction management went to the Board of Ed, and they approved that so we could get started with the design process. April 26th, a team made up of board members, PDC and school leaders toured the Gwinnett School of Math, Science, and Technology, as well as Discovery High School to view facility programmatic ideas for the new high school choice concept. Moving into October 9th, 2018, a similar visit was made to the Alliance Academy for Innovation in Forsyth County and the Paul Duke STEM High School in Gwinnett. And then just as a side note there, only Discovery High School offers any GHS sports. So while it's true we did open with sports, it really was not part of the original concept for BASA. And there are a lot of folks that can support that, but I realize we have a lot of folks that believe it was, and that's okay too. February 2018, Mr. Perno, Mr. Dutton, and myself actually drove down to the Department of Ed building in the south of Atlanta, which is always a lot of fun, to meet with the facilities department team down there to request a waiver of minimum space requirements on the gym for the new high school due to the fact that we were not going to have athletic facilities at that plan for the project. That was granted by the DOE on June 11th, 2018. March 27th, 2018, construction report presented to the School Systems Board of Ed, and that state system staff has met with the state DOE facilities director and staff to discuss the project and our general vision for the facility and campus, the vision of the School of Choice, Arts and Sciences, magnet, misnomer there, with a classroom wing and student center in phase 1 with the overarching goal of focusing on the arts at this building to complement the STEM program at Sims. Now, things have changed and morphed, and they should. It shouldn't be a static thing. I've never believed that. There's always room for change and making things better. So moving into 2019, February 26th, the new high school presentation was made here to the Board of Education. I pulled out slide 12, which speaks to athletics, and specifically they're still under consideration. And in the notes, and these were Dr. Simpson's notes, we do know that the new high school will not have competitive athletics in the beginning. So that was made pretty clear there, and there's a little more up close of his notes if you're interested. Spring 2019, student survey for the new high school campus went out to prospective BASA students. Approximately 4,000 students responded. If you look at question 32 there, it states, when deciding if you would like to attend the new school with the ability to play sports or participate in marching band at your zone high school, AHS or Winterboro High School, affect your decision. Note the new school will not have competitive sport teams that are sanctioned by GHSA. Some intramural sports programs could be offered though. More information on this is probably the next question. So the next piece, question 33, what intramural sports would you be interested in participating in? And if you're not interested in playing any intramural sports, leave it blank, whereas competitive athletic programs play against other schools, intramural sports, so just an explanation there. So this one I haven't been able to track down the exact date on yet, but it was a flyer. And in between, here's what kind of happened. We saw this come from our students, and we made the decision that we do need to have some athletic opportunities. So we did make a change right there. And actually planning on this began probably 2 years before with the board retreat for the concept, but I didn't go that far back in my notes. So somewhere in there, we were able to, and we were happy to do it, to put a flyer out, and actually one of you all provided me with that. I've been looking for that for a little while. Flyer posted listing 8 anticipated sports opportunities, being cross-country, golf, tennis, soccer, volleyball, and swimming. We also, during that time, contacted GHSA, and we had hoped to offer, say, if you wanted to go run track or if you wanted to play football at your zoned high school, but since it was not a magnet school, we were not allowed to do that. So that was a GHSA ruling on that. So then we moved down to the next one. I think we have some that correlate here, Ms. Walsh. November 21st, Sim School SGT discussed BASA competitive sports. Dr. Simpson shared GHSA region alignments. We were able to join up with GHSA. Another reason we want to do that was for literary and some other things. He also shared the results of the sports contained activity survey he had done, noting that any new sports would have to go through a more extensive process before approval. In other words, we opened with those original 8. Going forward, we'd have to go through a more extensive process. Regional alignment, I'm not going to read all that. It's just what region we were in. Review and approval process for the new sports, SGT, to cluster governance team, to district governance team, executive cabinet, and he had Board of Education for final approval, and I want to clarify that that's really not one of the steps. This falls under operations, which is not really the board's domain except to kind of oversee. It falls under myself and the executive cabinet and the principals. So at that point, let's see, lost my train of thought here. Okay, so we've got that. That's been clarified for folks. And we have I pulled the charts there, and track and field was one of them. So were several others. And at the end says the SGT will support the entire campus and will approve athletics at January meeting. So we move into 2020. Sims School Governance Team discussed BASA competitive sports. Dr. Simpson recommends approving the following competitive sports. And then you can see them there: competitive cheerleading, cross country, one act play, volleyball. So he actually even went back and some of the ones we'd already kind of opened with cross country and some others, put those in. Winter sports, dance, esports, literary, swimming and diving, baseball, golf, gymnastics and soccer, tennis, and track and field. I have looked everywhere, and I cannot find a record of this ever been forwarded through the rest of the process.
We do have a copy of minutes that were approved by the school. I think others may have that copy of the minutes.
Of the school, but it didn't come up through the rest of the process.
Track and field was approved by the school and presented to wherever the next step was, and it was shot down somewhere between the school and being approved.
Okay, what dates are we talking about?
I
think I've got that further on.
I think that's one you just addressed.
Well, I think I've got it further down here too. So, taking it in order, in 2020, it was, and several of y'all have said that, and I totally agree. That is exactly right. However, there is no record of it going through the rest of the process. Now, remember, COVID hit us 2 months later, so a month and a half, 2 months later. So the next thing I could find was prior to May 11th, I'm not sure the exact dates, they started doing presentations on parent-athlete presentations. I think many of you have seen those. They presented the teams for fall, winter, and spring, and you can see them there. I think they're the same ones pretty much I just read. So we actually opened the school with 11 instead of 8, which I thought was a good thing. And then just a note there that we're not a magnet program, so we couldn't do the GHSA thing where they will allow you to go back to the other schools. So then I went through all the SGT meetings for BASA and SIMS, actually, they were put together. We pulled out, let's see, November 17th, the BASA SGT meeting. New sport activity was proposed for gymnastics. That came up through the process and we approved. March 16th, BASA SGT meeting, 3 new sports activities proposed: bass fishing, one act play, and marching band. I know we approved one act play and marching band. I'm not sure about the bass fishing, but I imagine we probably did. January 11th, 2022, new club was approved, running club, which is a track club, I'm assuming. I'm not well versed in it, but well, I couldn't find anything on a track club, so that's an assumption. 2023, and I think this also lines up, haven't had a chance to read it in depth with Ms. Walsh's. Coach Roper began advertising track and field team interest and recruiting meetings on Instagram, cross-country account, without going through the proper approval process. There is no, ma'am, you had your turn, it's mine. They didn't go through the process. We have nothing of record that comes up here that approves that process.
It wasn't Roper that posted that, that was me.
Okay, well, that was you, but he's the employee, so. January 22nd, another one was posted recruiting. February 6th, another one was posted recruiting.
So if they couldn't go through the process, why were we not notified? Why was Mr. Roper, who is the employee,
I'm getting to that, if you give me a second. February 23rd, 2023, requests were received from Dr. Baker, who was the athletic director, from BASA for 4 new sports: varsity competitive cheer, varsity volleyball, track and field, and basketball. Actually, there were no requests found of those requests going before the BASA SGT either, but they did get to us somehow. February 28th, Dr. Darby and Mr. Perno met with Mr. Sheeman and Dr. Baker at BASA regarding no new sports teams moving forward at this time. March 7th, We actually, at the executive cabinet meeting, officially reviewed the requests. We approved 2, the varsity competitive cheer and the varsity volleyball. Did not approve 2, the track and field and basketball, to move forward at that time. Nobody ever said we'll never have it. April 18th, 2023, BASA SGT meeting, new club approved, boys and girls volleyball. August 29th, 2023, Dr. Darby, Mr. Purnham, Mr. Sheeman, Ms. Cooper, and Coach Roper met and reiterated that the new team sports outside the 2 approved were not moving forward at this time, and with Mr. Roper, it was specifically track and field. So that's the timeline I have, and that's honestly about the knowledge of it that I have at this point.
I provided you guys with a timeline on our end as well, so.
Yeah, I think a lot of these seem to jive pretty much, yeah. So we're definitely trying to
I can provide the
dig
minutes
through.
of this as well.
Yeah, that'd be great if you'd send me those. And that's one thing, I've only had 1 or 2 people actually email me.
If I can make one quick comment. We did 2 years ago speak with GHSA, the president. He said that we could play sports in another school if all sports were played there. Still attend BASA. We made a request to BASA to do that for him. We were denied.
Okay.
So I don't know where the denial came from.
I don't know where that came from either, but we can definitely, if you'll email me about that, I'll look into it and find out. Yeah.
What does the board intend to do now for our BASA students?
Well, I think right now I want to see if any board members have any questions or comments. I've got Dr. Bowen here and Dr. Darby, and a few others that can, our Gator-loving financial person and some others here that might can help answer questions, because we want to have an open, transparent discussion. So,
You guys have any questions?
I'll start since you already know how I feel about this. First of all, thank you, Ms. Roper, for your service. If it was not for late, I'm sorry, Ms. Walsh. Sorry, I'm sitting here trying. You can see my notes. You would think I'm like a beautiful mind up here. Okay.
Mr. Roper is the employee.
Okay, Mr. Roper's the employee. Okay, thank you for your service. If it wasn't for lay coaches in this county, we wouldn't be able to have sports. So we have so many people who are volunteering their time, and it's really, really appreciated. So first of all, thank you. I find this extremely, and I'm talking to the board, but I'm going to read my notes here. I find this extremely frustrating, both as a parent who, as you all know, did remove my child from BASA for reasons very similar to this. And as a board member, to be quite honest, I find it embarrassing. I know for a fact that there has definitely been conflicting information presented about BASA from the very beginning. I know that because I was there. At this point, whose idea BASA was or what the initial dream was is irrelevant to me. I think we have a responsibility. Y'all just hang on just a second. Y'all have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to the whole child, academically, physically, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And these decisions, which did not come from the Board of Education, just so we're clear, do not reflect that responsibility in my opinion. I personally think that presentations like this that we're doing with these timelines and their timelines show the back and forth. And if you pay close attention, you can see that there was poor management. And but the bottom line is these programs, these schools, they belong to taxpayers. They do not belong to us. They do not belong to Dr. McMichael, and they belong to the taxpayers. They have been speaking for years. The parents at BASA have been speaking for years about this topic and different issues surrounding these topics. And in my opinion, any other attitude other than support toward what they are insinuating is insulting. So I asked the board to lean in. It's going to be really easy to get in the weeds. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to read these timelines, their timeline, his timeline, her timeline. I don't know. But it's hard for parents to combat this because of all of the misinformation. It's very, very difficult. So, but this is my point. If it's what's best for the kids, I'm not sure why they should have to combat it. And that's why it's frustrating to me. So I'm going to leave this alone because it's just really frustrating to me. But that's my 2 cents, and I mean, that's it.
I'm going to take a second stab at this, and I'll try to keep it pretty generic for now. But I will say that I was a track athlete under Coach Roper's supervision at Wonderberry High School, and that was a very formative time in my life. I never walked away with a medal. I was the slowest one there. Thank you. But I do see the importance of a well-rounded student, and while this is in the intention of this school being an arts and sciences academy, you cannot remove health and well-being and athletics. Doesn't mean all athletics have to be proposed, but I will say track and field and cross country have to be the lowest expense sport there is. Exactly. And I will say that. I was presented with wonderful lay coaches who volunteered their time and energy and efforts. So I'm grateful for what you have done for these student athletes, and I just want to say that to anyone else who has volunteered their time in a positive and impactful way. A side note, there were some notes from a recent, it was a conference I was unable to attend about gangs in every county basically here in Georgia, and how it's really important that these students have opportunities to be involved after school and to have something that is keeping them productive and healthy and involved and giving them community and belonging and purpose and teaching them those soft skills that now employers are looking for in our students, because our students think they're probably a little better than they are. And I work at the University of Georgia, and that's what employers are telling me, and that they're saying these students need soft skills. They need that tenacity, they need that resilience, they need that ability to overcome adversity. So again, it doesn't have to, that could be any sport, but for this specific cause and reason, I apologize for any part that we have had on just our behalf for there being miscommunications, and that this is even to the point it is now. But I did make a note earlier. I'm a little ADD, it's okay. I'm just gonna pop over, and I did make a note that for the safety concerns, our middle schools are using our high school's facilities for track competitions right now, because my son he's a cross-country runner, he's a track runner. I would love some more clarity on why that was actually the reason for this to be dissolved.
I support you, but don't come up and ask me for a football team, because y'all ain't getting it. I mean, just no football. You can't do that. It was never part of the plan.
I will say.
Hang on, before we move forward, hang on guys, before we move forward, let's try to get, if we can get an answer as we go down. Do we have anybody that can give an answer of what is Barrow County's definition of safe, appropriate track space?
Maybe Coach Mack. Coach Mack, can you elaborate on that, what the definition of safe space is? He's our safety guy.
As an athletic trainer, sports med specialist, my job is to ensure the safety of the students that are practicing the field. I was not involved in that decision, but every place I've been to in the Barrow County schools, our facilities are safe.
So the children are supposed to stay places to practice and compete, is what you're saying.
I think, and maybe Mr. Furno or somebody else can jump in and help me, but my thought process on that is putting in a full field, especially the field piece, with all the construction going on at BASA, is what was being referred to at that piece. It's my understanding of it. Again, I wasn't there for that, whenever that conversation.
That would be nice, but we're not asking for it.
Right, and I don't think that anyone has said that the issue really comes down to the fact that we keep using the word dissolve, but there's nothing there to have been dissolved. There was never. Let me talk. Let me speak, please. There was never a official track team approved at the system level or at the school level.
Regardless, there's a team.
Let me finish, please.
But who approves it? Because you said that the Board of Education was not the final note on that. So who approves it?
Well, it was never properly sent forward to be approved.
We had approval on our end. So somewhere in y'all's little
But you didn't.
wallet got mixed
But
up.
you didn't.
We
Nothing.
did, but
Okay.
we
Let
would
me
not have moved
rephrase.
forward had we had
Let me
no
rephrase. If you did, I don't have any record of it.
Well, we all have record of it.
Well, it needs to be approved now.
Well, we'll get to that. Okay. So there's nothing's been dissolved. You still have the same group that went last time, correct? Let me know if I'm wrong here, because my understanding is the same group of kids. They're still going forward. You're still allowed to do what you did last year.
For free, a discriminatory club for no one.
It's not discriminatory.
It is not discriminatory.
But up until, and no one has ever said we will never approve this, or nobody's even said we won't relook at it.
You gave us an order on August 29th, or sorry, Dr. Garvey, wherever he is, gave an order that we were not going to have a new club and that it was going to be phased out and no new participants could come.
Did we say that about the club, or did we say that about a team?
A club? Whether it's a club or a team, we exist and there was 70 kids.
But there is a difference, and when you have, and I'm sorry
if
to
you have a
pull
club,
this
anyone should
card,
join,
but when
correct?
Bassett is not the only school that we have. We have 20 schools. We have a lot of other things we have to balance. So let's take a second. Please let me speak. Let's take a second. We all want the same thing. We all want what's best for our kids. My own kid graduated from Bassett. I want what's best for Bassett kids just like everyone else does. We're not the enemy here. We're trying to work with you to come up with a solution for
But are
this.
you? I emailed you in February and never got a response about this.
Hey,
I emailed you.
I have no emails
Give us
from
a
you.
chance, give us a chance.
I have no
Let
emails
him
from you.
talk. Wait just a second, please, and let him finish, okay?
Are you saying you sent me an email in February?
I sent everybody, we've all emailed and tried to get answers about this.
I've only heard
and
from 2 or 3 people.
The whole social media is bringing this up. This was not me starting a fire. This is everybody at BASA finally getting their voices heard.
All right, this is what we're gonna do.
Jordan, hang on a second. What happened in January, Dr. McMichael, real quick, January 2023, it says confirmation is given from the athletic director to the coaches to proceed with the track program and
I will end it right now.
Y'all gotta chill.
She is talking. I'm over the attitudes. I will end it. Look at me like that again. We will get you out. We are trying to. We are the leaders. You are the parents. What are we showing our?
We are your bosses.
Okay, we're going to shut this down. We are going to have another meeting because we do want to work with you guys.
We do, and we want.
But we
want to
need
try
a
to have
civil
track meet,
meeting.
but y'all can't
And I'm
be
not going to
civil
have
enough to
people
get through
scream
it.
at us. Hang on
So
just a
we're
second.
not gonna do that.
Hang on. I'm not going to have people scream at us, and we want to be.
The only person I've heard scream is you, sir. I've been sitting here quiet. I've not said a word. The only person I've seen lose their temper and scream is you, sir.
At this time, can I get an authorization for committees to meet?
So moved.
Ms. Stevens, Mr. Bailey, all in favor? Notice next meeting dates. We are adjourned. That's what we need.
We will be back. Let me tell you.